Okay, so welcome back again to the channel. Another video, another unboxing. This one is an unbagging, mainly because I was able to walk in the store and cop, as you can see, from Shoe Palace. I picked up, get the receipt out of the way. So I picked up these Nikes. You can see the special edition box. You don't probably know what it is already, but yeah, it was just really nice to be able to walk into Shoe Palace, and I think it was like 5 p.m. on 4 p.m. on a Sunday. It was like near the end of the day on a Sunday, having just like literally slept through the drop. My son was ill, so I was up half the night. But yeah, without any further ado, get into the pair. Start off by showing you the sizing label. You'll probably know what this is already. It reads Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG True Blue White Cement Grey. Sorry, white and cement grey. I'll get into my thoughts and opinions on those colours in a sec. And I do have a couple of things, it's not actually pairs, to compare to, because it's a bit odd that they're calling the colourway exactly that. But I'll get into that in a sec. So the first thing I'll do before I give any kind of thoughts or opinions or anything, just kind of cover off the actual shoe itself. So I'll take this side. So what you have here is your typical Air Jordan 1 High OG, but this is, it's not being labelled as anything else like the High 85s are, but this is essentially like a 2022 remastered shape. And you can see, if you compare the size of this swoosh or the size of this swoosh, it is more comparable to the Lost and Found, which also is not really a High 85, but is also not an OG High or High OG. They're kind of like in the middle. Let me shoot up an image here of this pair, Lost and Found, and then just any random pre-2022 pair that I can find a picture of with a close tongue tag pic, and so you can see the pictures. And if I said remastered 2020, then I meant 2022. So yeah, that's the shoe. It's called the True Blue. They're basically being called the True Blue. You have the blue kind of around the typical like Chicago areas, and then at the back in a very black toe, OG black toe style, you then have cement grey. In a kind of fine, I guess, nubuck type of material. It's actually a really nice suede. As much as I give stick to Jordan Brand, they've actually done this really good with the materials. And then you can see a slightly different Wings logo is actually debossed on the back there. It's not like your typical, which also makes it feel a bit more like an 85. It definitely doesn't feel like an 85 in hand, but it also doesn't totally feel like a regular OG High. Similar thing as per before. I think Nike's going on a mission to reduce the amount of plastics that they produce and the amount of card. So there is just like the paper insert. As I said, it does feel a bit cheaper, but I mean, if it's good for the environment, then so be it. Blue laces come in it. They come with spare whites. Those whites will be going in when I wear them. This is the kind of pair that I think is really cool, and I'm going to just sit on them for a year maybe, and then bring them out when everyone's forgotten about them, and you know, they're not like a recent shoe. I feel like it's really weird, but that's like the cooler way to wear them. So yeah, both shoes are the same. They're identical on both sides, like 99% of shoes. So only really show this one off. Yeah, there's been like, I guess, like split opinion on them. They sat hard every single size, at least in the US on Sneakers app, which is a really good barometer for these things. All of Saturday, I don't think there was a single size sold out when I went to sleep on Saturday. So a quick real kind of run through is I was hoping to get these 20-25% off. I was still going to pick them up because I think they're really, really nice. Obviously don't want to pay full price. They may still restock, who knows, but I woke up Sunday and 2 or 3 sizes were gone, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like shoes these days usually either sit really hard or they kind of I set out within an hour. And then I kind of went to the gym, got housework done, bloody blah, getting on with my day. I checked sneakers again around 3. I think it was actually in the gym. Checked it, and the 12 was gone, which is my size, which is what these are. All of my other ones are 12s, honestly, apart from my shatter backboards. But yeah, 12s were gone. Also, there was 5, 6 other sizes gone. So now 40% of them are gone. So I open up Foot Locker, 12's gone. I open up Champs app, 12's gone, and a bunch of other sizes as well. Basically, I went through all of the typical kind of websites that I would get them from, 5, 6, 7 like larger boutiques and the main foot sites, and I couldn't find it. Actually, couldn't find a 12 anywhere at this point. It was like 4 p.m. Finished up in the gym, drove to Stonebriar, walked into Champs, and they had a 12. So I was like, you know what? It's like, for the sake of what, 20% off, 18 was that $35. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to drop $35 on the floor, but I really want the shoe, and for the sake of $35, I'm just not going to take that risk. So I copped them there, and it also meant like no shipping fees. So you know that helped. Obviously, I wouldn't have paid shipping fees if I'd gone via Nike, but I also wouldn't have had them in hand today if I'd gone via Nike. So yeah, I think what I'm going to start doing, I tracked these on price prior because of I paid full price for my Heritage and really didn't need to. They were going for about 180 the week before drop. These were going for about 210. So I'm starting to gauge, you know, 180 means don't pay retail at all. You'll get a code. 215, 220, 225 means you can get them very easily for retail, but you might not be able to get them on sale. I might still eat those words because these may go on sale. But yeah, enough lollygagging. The white laces are going to go in for me. I've also got another pair down here because I want to compare the greys. I might see if I can get any grey laces. That might also bang. Who knows? But I'm going to pop an image up here of something I found on YouTube where there was an early pair the guy was wearing, and so the image is not mine, but he was wearing like a kind of sage, like a light green sage type of cargo with the white laces. As I say, image up there, and I just thought that it looked really good from that kind of top down. So that's the kind of probably the type of style that I would wear this with. Maybe just like a random color tee, like as long as the tee's good quality and stuff. So yeah, that was like, I guess just like a run through of the colorway materials and the cop itself. A couple of things I wanted to kind of point out really. First one is, I rambled a little bit earlier about how they were calling these colors, what they were calling them. 2016 True Blue 3, right? So this shoe obviously takes inspiration from this shoe. But let me see how well this is coming through. These are so big. I've probably worn these more times than any other pair of Jordans. You can make out the difference between those two blues. Like they're not even close to the same. Take that tag out so it doesn't fall. But like, have a look at the two blues. They're two like similar materials. This obviously is shiny on the midsole, so it's a bit unfair. But if you're looking at those two, that is not the same blue. So it is a little bit odd why they went with this blue. However, I would say this is more close to Storm Blue. I'll just put an image up here of the Storm Blue ones. I would say that this, so image up there of the Storm Blue ones right next to this pair. I'd say that, unless I'm kind of got it way off, I would say it's probably closer to that than this. This is much darker. So yeah, it's a much darker blue. They really need to retro these. It's been like 6-7 years and the shape and the bulkiness of this shoe is terrible. Well, there you are. So yeah, that was like one of the things I wanted to talk about. Also the grey, actually, sorry, put this back out again. The grey, like, really actually isn't that close to the grey on here. You know, I always say that grey on different materials is quite difficult, and maybe it does look that much kind of cleaner on the suede than it does on that rubber I just showed you, but I actually felt that this grey looks more like shadow grey. Don't know how well that comes out. And remember, this is leather and this is suede, so they're not going to look identical, but like that's not that far off. These are covered in glitter. So yeah, I guess I'm just showing you other shoes because it was just a little bit odd to me how, like, literally on the sizing tag of this, it explicitly says that it's true blue and cement grey, and it looks like storm blue and shadow grey, which is like really odd. And it actually brought me onto another one of my points. I've heard a lot of guys call these mid. And in essence, it's essentially two OG colorways, like the actual colors. Forget what JB are calling them. In essence, it's a shadow. It's like this half shadow and this half storm blue. Both OG colorways. Both are ping prices up here. I'm guessing. Haven't looked at StockX. I'm guessing they both go for considerably over retail. When you pop them together and make half of it suede, and give a special edition box, they're mid. Like I don't get it personally. But like I've just heard a lot of people saying that, and I pretty much disagree. Similar thing with like the Union, right? So the Unions, they took the, instead of like side by side now with this colorway, if you're thinking stacking on top of each other, they took the storm blue and then they took the bread and they stacked them that way. I'll shoot an image up here of what the current price is in a 12. It's probably 10 times retail, if not more. So it does make me feel a little bit like annoyed and frustrated with some like thoughts and opinions when like there's a shoe that is ultimately like kind of similar-ish type of vibe, and one is mid and the other one's like some genius design. Not like saying like anything about anyone who might have said that, and if that's your opinion then fine, but I feel like people need to see product in hand before they start saying that. Yeah, I get that scarcity is the #1 factor, and the Union ones are super scarce, and these are a GR. I'm not comparing them on quality of leather or scarcity or expected value. Like those things are all clear to anyone. But I do think like if you're calling this mid and you're saying that's a grail, like have a think about that. Because I'm sorry, but some yellow stitching and spare laces is not going to, for me, it's just not the difference between mid and grail. So yeah, one final thought before I do the kind of closing piece, just around the colorway. This is basically like for me the fourth recent iteration of the black toe colorway, or at least from my collection. Again, pop an image up here. I've put kind of 4 of them, 2 of which I have down here and I'll compare to. Actually, one of which I'll compare to. Now, no, I'll say that. Yeah, that image up there shows like that kind of like Chicago at the front and then a different color at the back, which is why I'm calling it that black toe block. You can see the black toe up in that image, and I don't know. I think it's like it's an interesting new stance that they're taking with just kind of chopping up the black toe kind of style. So yeah, one final thing I am going to do, I'm just going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to bring up 4 other blue colorways, recent ones, Jordan ones, so we can kind of see like where do we think as a channel, where do we think these really rate. So the first one, I'm going to do all lefts for some uniformity. So we obviously have the True Blues from 2023, Hyper Royal. So also I wanted to look at these all together because like I kind of asked myself the question, do I have too many of the same thing? Like is there not enough of a difference to like justify the new pops? Obviously I can just sit on them for a little while and then sell them, and they're still going to be worth retail if not more, but so it's not a problem, but I guess I just like to keep myself in check in a certain way. So that was the Georgetown 85 OG Royal. hopefully these are all on screen. Left true. And then from, I want to say 2019, I think it was one of the ones I messed up in my collection video. Obsidians. They're basically now called Obsidians, but they are the Obsidians UNC. So this is one of the pairs that was in that grid earlier, where it's like, you can kind of see the similarity in the block. This is a bit different because you have the darker up here as well. If I compared this to the Mochas, I'll put an image up here, they're the exact same block because they both have the white up here. So I guess you could call it a Mocha block. I don't know, because I think this and the Mocha are the only ones that have the black toe but with the white up here. And the other ones are black toe but with whichever colour is here is also in these two. So it's a slight difference. But so yeah, maybe sound off in the comments if you want. What do you guys think is the best of these 5 colourways? This is basically all of my blue Jordan 1s. Just have a quick look. I think I grabbed them all. Got a couple that could have come in here, like the women's UNC to Chicago's, but for me that's like a predominantly black shoe. There's just a subtle hit of blue. Yeah, and that's kind of pretty much it really. I think for me, I'm a bit blasphemous sometimes when it comes to OGs. I'd probably put the OGs as the final, the last one. I think that's my order or that's my order. I would need to wear these a few times before I can really kind of say. But yeah, I would say that order. There's just too much black on these, and this day and age, I just really don't wear black shoes enough to be rating these any higher. They're gonna stay in the collection. They're OGs. They have so much legacy and whatnot. So yeah, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. As always, I enjoyed making it. Yeah, tune in for more vids. Got a couple more things on the way. Over and out.